Okay, what if I told you that the most fundamental thing you experience every single second of every day, the flow of time itself, might not even be real? We're about to dive into a seriously mind-bending idea from the very edge of physics, that time, as you and I know it, is actually an illusion.
And this right here is the central question we're going to tackle. You see, modern physics is genuinely grappling with the idea that our most basic experience of one moment just following the next might not be a fundamental feature of the universe at all. To get why, we've got to first look at a huge glaring problem right at the heart of physics.
And here it is. On one hand, you've got Einstein's relativity, which tells us time is, well, it's stretchy. It can speed up, it can slow down, all depending on how fast you're moving and the gravity around you. Time is part of the very fabric of space-time. But then, on the other hand, you have quantum mechanics, our amazing theory of the super-duper small. And in that world, time is just this rigid, background metronome, a clock that ticks away, and the equations couldn't care less if you run them forwards or backwards. These two descriptions are completely, totally incompatible. And listen, when your two best theories of reality contradict each other on something as basic as time, that's usually a giant sign that your understanding of that thing is fundamentally wrong.
So, to try and fix this, a really radical new idea is gaining ground, that time isn't fundamental at all. It's an emergent property. And probably the best way to get your head around it is to think of a temporal onion. So together, let's peel back the layers, starting with the familiar time we all know, and digging down to the absolutely bizarre physics at reality's core.
All right, let's start peeling. We're on the outermost layer of our onion, the one we can all see and understand pretty well. This is the cosmological clock, the big, sweeping time that governs the entire cosmos.
Ever since the Big Bang, the universe has been expanding, right? And this expansion, it acts like a universal clock. Physicists can describe it with a set of rules called the Friedmann equations, which basically let us hit the rewind button. Based on how big the universe is right now, we can calculate its age, about 13.8 billion years old. This gives us a shared timeline for, well, everything.
And this isn't just a theory. We've got cold, hard evidence. We can literally see the universe's baby picture in the cosmic microwave background. You rely on this cosmic time every single day for your GPS systems, which have to constantly correct for time moving at different speeds depending on where the satellites are. We've even proven it by flying super accurate atomic clocks around the world on airplanes. This outer layer of time, it's very real and very measurable.
Okay, time to peel the onion one layer deeper. Now we're moving from the scale of the entire universe down to the scale of our everyday lives to try and explain why time seems to only move in one direction. So why do we remember the past but not the future? Why does an egg scramble but never ever unscramble itself? The answer seems to lie in a fundamental law of physics, the second law of thermodynamics. It's actually pretty simple. It just says that over time, things get messier. In any closed system, like our universe, the total amount of disorder, or what physicists call entropy, always goes up.
And here's the part that'll bake your noodle. That flow of time we all feel, that unstoppable river carrying us from the past to the future, it might just be our brain's way of perceiving this relentless increase in messiness. Think about it. The universe started in a super-ordered state at the Big Bang, and it's been getting more disordered ever since. Your life, your memories, your sense of now, it might all be just you surfing that cosmic wave of increasing entropy.
And now we peel to the very center of the onion. And here, down at the fundamental quantum level, things get truly weird, and our entire concept of time just breaks down completely. This is where reality gets absolutely bonkers. When physicists tried to combine relativity and quantum mechanics to write a master equation for the whole universe, they came up with something called the Wheeler-DeWitt equation. And when they looked at it, the variable for time, t, was just gone. It's not in the equation. According to this, at the most fundamental level, time doesn't exist. The universe is a static, frozen block.
So if the universe is timeless, how in the world do we experience time? Well, a leading theory called the Page-Wooters mechanism suggests the answer is quantum entanglement. Imagine you're an observer inside this frozen universe. Time emerges when you, the observer, become entangled with a clock, and that can be any part of the universe that changes predictably. By comparing everything else to that clock, change suddenly appears, and the illusion of time is born. It's not that the universe is evolving, it's that you are just measuring one part of it against another.
And get this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. Back in 2014, physicists actually built a tiny little toy universe with entangled photons to test this exact idea.
From an outside perspective, their system was completely static. Nothing was happening. But when they measured one photon relative to the other, acting as an observer inside the system, poof, a clock started ticking. They literally watched time emerge from a timeless state. How cool is that?
So we've got this wild theory of a three-layered emergent time. But how could we ever possibly test it? Well, we need to look at a place where all three layers, the quantum, the thermodynamic, and the cosmological, are all pushed to their absolute breaking point limits. A black hole.
Okay, so here's the showdown. When two black holes merge, they send out these ripples in spacetime called gravitational waves. Einstein's theory predicts this signal rings like a bell and then fades away smoothly. But if time is emergent, it predicts there should be a quantum structure just outside the event horizon, the point of no return. This quantum shell would act like an echo chamber, causing the waves to bounce around and create a series of fainter echoes after the main signal. Finally, a clear, testable prediction. One or the other has to be right.
And this pretty much shows how it would work. You get that main gravitational wave from the merger, and that's the big signal we detect here on Earth. But that proposed quantum shell near the horizon would act like a funhouse mirror, trapping some of the waves. These trapped waves then slowly leak out, reaching us later as a series of fainter, repeating signals, the echoes.
So, have we seen them? This is where it gets really exciting. Scientists went back and reanalyzed the very first gravitational wave signal ever detected, GW150914. They ran two models, one assuming Einstein was right and there were no echoes, and one assuming the emergent time theory was right and there were echoes. The computer then gives a score for how well each model fits the real data. Now, a score of -10 is considered strong evidence. The model with echoes scored -101. Now, this doesn't mean it's proven, but that is a powerful, powerful hint that there's something more going on than we thought.
And the evidence isn't just coming from gravitational waves. The team that took that first ever picture of a black hole, M87 star, used their data to test this idea too. They looked for the effects of this quantum shell and found that if it exists, it can't be very big, no larger than about 13% of the black hole's total mass. And this is exactly how science is supposed to work. You've got different teams with different tools, all chipping away at the same puzzle to build a whole new picture of reality.
So, where does all this leave us? We've peeled the onion from the vast cosmos all the way down to the quantum core, and we found that our entire understanding of time might be completely backwards.
So what does this new picture of the universe look like? Well, first, time is probably not fundamental. Instead, it seems to emerge in layers, building up from that bizarre quantum core to the thermodynamic arrow of time that we all feel, and all the way up to the cosmological clock of the expanding universe. And what's most important here is that this isn't just philosophy, it's testable science, and the first hints we're getting from black holes are really, really tantalizing. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If the universe is, at its most basic level, a timeless block of information, what is time? Maybe it's not some river that's sweeping us along. Maybe it's just the process of one part of the universe reading another. Perhaps time is simply how reality tells its own story.